So we're going to do a particular type of meditation that's really good for helping us if we're having trouble sleeping. But also, like, maybe you're really lucky and you'd never have trouble sleeping. This is also good for after work, nice relaxing before the stresses of after work start to take in. So you can use this particular meditation in a lot of different ways. But it is, I usually teach it for people who are having trouble sleeping, which is a common entry point for meditation, one of the more common ones, right? So before we get into that, I always like to introduce meditation in general, because for a lot of you, this is your first time being here, your first time meditating. Maybe you don't know anything about meditation. So that's why you're here. And so we're going to give a little overview of what meditation is. And then we'll do a short breathing meditation, which is pretty much the entry point into most people's endeavors into meditation. And then we'll get into our topic. All right. Ask questions. If you have any questions, just type it into the chat. I'm happy to stop what I'm doing and answer. That's the benefit of the live format, so take advantage of it. And if you're not comfortable doing that, typing it into chat, or you think of something after the class is over, you can email me. I'll put my email in the chat later, and I'll say it in case anyone's not looking at the chat. Nancy, now I'll never have hope of staying awake. No, you'll learn how to control this power. Okay, so for those that are new, what is meditation, right? So generally, people get into meditation because they want to be less stressed, which is a really good entry point, because meditation is fantastic at relaxing us, right? But it is more than just that. There's really like two steps to meditation. One is learning how to relax your mind, right? Two is using that relaxed mind for a purpose, right? To investigate something, to learn something about yourself, to look at something that's bothering you and try to gain some insight into it, right? So it's kind of a two-step process. We don't just want to relax our mind and then just like not do anything with it. We work hard to relax our mind, and now let's do something productive with it. Gail, so excited to relax. All right, let's do it. So there's like a two-step process to meditation, right? But before we can do any of this like cool like investigation, gaining insight into certain aspects of our life, we do have to learn how to relax our mind. And you probably don't need me to tell this to you, but when your mind is very busy or distracted or worried, anxious, things don't seem to flow very easily, right? Everything seems to be a little more challenging, right? Same thing with investigating something. So we have to learn how to relax. Hey, Patricia, we have to learn how to relax our mind, to realize that we have the ability to relax our mind all on our own, right? And so an analogy I use very regularly here is if you imagine that you're at a still lake, right? Very calm, very peaceful, very tranquil, beautiful, right? And I was like, hey, you describe to me the reflection in the lake. You'd be like, oh, okay, here it is. There's some flowers here, some grass. You could describe the reflection very easily because it's clear, right? There's nothing obstructing it. If it starts to rain a bit, well, now that reflection becomes less clear, harder to describe. If it starts to downpour, you might not be able to describe the reflection in the lake at all. Our mind is the same way. Our mind is normally like a still lake, very calm, very peaceful, very tranquil, relaxed, kind. But all of the worries, distractions, anxieties, stress, all these things that are bouncing around in our mind all day long, they're like raindrops falling on the lake, right? And it makes it hard for us to react to things reasonably, to think clearly, to be patient. All these wonderful things that we want to cultivate, it becomes challenging when our mind is super busy and distracted. So that's our first goal, is to reduce the amount of distractions, to clear away some of the raindrops that are obscuring the reflection in the lake, so to speak, right? Does that make sense? Cool analogy. I use it a lot. Sorry, people who come here often maybe just tune that out. Probably heard it so many times. So the way that we're going to do this, the way that we're going to start to relax by using meditation is with something that is kind of widely known as breathing meditation. More formally, or technically, we could call it single pointed concentration, right? Which, what that means is we're focusing exclusively on one thing, so much so that other things start to fade into the background, right? Sue, always good to be reminded of what we've learned. That's a very good point. A lot of this is repetition. This is new, right? So we have to do repetition. So you've probably experienced something like single-pointed concentration before in your life. If you've ever been in the zone, right, working out, or a project at work, right? What happens? We lose track of time. People call our name, we don't hear it, right? Forget to eat lunch or something like that, right? We're so single-pointedly focused on something that the things that are normally important to us, like, oh my God, when's lunch? We start to forget about them. They start to kind of vanish. It's a very interesting phenomenon that happens in our mind, right? So we can use this to our advantage if we start to do this intentionally, start to train in single-pointed concentration intentionally, right? And the way that we're going to do this is by focusing on our breath. That's why it's called breathing meditation. So we use our breath mainly because our breath is always with us, right? So our goal here isn't to just spend an hour talking about meditation, doing a couple meditations, and then going about our life and never thinking about it again. It's about learning how we can use meditation in our life, how we can make it work for us, weave it into our already pretty busy day, right? So one of the benefits of using your breath is you always have your breath with you. So if you become proficient at using your breath to relax, well, you start to feel empowered that you can do this regardless of where you are, when, right? It's a very important part of meditation, learning that you do not need perfect conditions to begin meditating and to see benefits from meditating. We don't need like a Zen garden or to go to a tranquil lake. Like, that's super cool if you do that, but that's not always going to be there for you. So we have to start to build up this realization that we can do meditation, that we can relax our mind even when our conditions aren't perfect, right? Sound good? We're going to do a breathing meditation now. It's pretty simple, like instructionally. You're just going to focus on your breathing. I'll guide us through it. You can pay attention to what I'm saying. And when you notice that your attention has kind of drifted away, maybe it's thinking about something somebody said to you earlier, or something you have to do later, or you forgot to do, or whatever it is, you're just going to be like, not right now, and then bring your attention back, right? In your head, you just said, not right now. And then bring your attention back to breathing, to focusing on your breath, right? This is this repetition of focusing on your breathing and then bringing it back. This is breathing meditation, right? The goal isn't to never become distracted. It's to become good at noticing when you are distracted and being able to bring yourself back, right? Sound good? All right, let's give this a shot. So sit comfortably. If you're laying down, that's fine. Maybe you're sitting on a cushion, that's okay. If you're sitting in a chair like me, that's also totally fine. I don't know, maybe somebody's standing. That might be a little uncomfortable after a while, but power to you. You can do whatever you want, right? So just make sure you're feeling good and relaxed, and go ahead and close your eyes and pay attention to what I'm saying. Follow along. We're going to do about a 5-minute breathing meditation. Whenever we start a meditation, we always check in. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling right now? Happy, sad, tired, energetic, neutral, whatever it is. We're just noticing how we're feeling. This is called mindfulness. Mindfulness is noticing what your mind is up to, moment to moment. That way you can skillfully respond. So, how are you feeling in this moment? And having checked in, you can now turn your full attention to your breathing in and out of your nose, very gently, very naturally. You do not need to take big, deep, powerful breaths or forcefully exhale. We're just breathing normally in and out, and seeing if you can follow your entire in-breath and your entire out-breath. Breathing in and out, very gently, very naturally. Allow yourself to relax. Maybe at some point you notice that your attention has wandered, is no longer exclusively focused on your breathing. Whenever you notice that this has happened, just gently guide your attention back. Guide your attention back to breathing in and out, following each breath in, following each breath out. Breathing in and out very gently, very naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath as many times as you need to. This is meditation. You, right now, are meditating. You are training your mind to relax, to be calm, to access peacefulness. And you're doing it all on your own with nothing other than your breath. How wonderful. So just continue breathing in and out, enjoying being here, enjoying breathing for a little while longer. Okay, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How'd that go? Susan, hi, good to see you. Even if I can't stay to watch it, I watch it during the week. Oh, great to see you, Susan. Thanks for coming back. Yeah, if anyone's here and I don't know, some other thing you have to take care of comes up and you have to leave, all these videos are available after the fact, so you can always go and rewatch them. So how was that? That's a pretty basic, straightforward breathing meditation. Nothing too fancy. Brandy, that was great. Glad to hear it. If that was difficult, it shouldn't come as a surprise because this is not very normal. For us, right? I don't know about you, but how many times a day do you sit quietly with your eyes closed and just focus on your breathing? Probably not that much, right? Hi, it seems simplistic, but it was very relaxing. Meditation is actually not that complicated. Very good. Gail, it was relaxing. Great. My mind races when I am hungry and it's just before dinner for me. Yes. So you can start to notice when you meditate how easy it is for your mind to get distracted, right? So when people first start meditating, a very common response is that their mind feels busier when they meditate. But really, you're just noticing how easily your mind boop 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 boop, right, starts to wander, right? And normally we don't really do anything to combat this, right? We kind of just let our mind wander. So it's going to take some time to make this habitual, like a routine, to make it familiar. Familiarization it's basically synonymous with meditation. Meditation is a way of familiarizing your mind with something. So we're familiarizing our mind with focusing on one thing, right? We don't do that much. We multitask all day long, right? Martha, I was on the wrong site. No problem. Glad you're here. Like I said, if you missed anything, these videos are available after the fact. You can always, I was going to say rewind, but that does not exist anymore. Rewatch. I wish I had someone to meditate with a little every day. How do you schedule this? Well, I do these free classes once a week on Wednesdays. Meditating with other people is really helpful, right? Keeps you honest. So if you have a friend that maybe is interested in this, that's a really cool thing to do, even over like Zoom, right? That's kind of a cool way of doing it now. But even if you can't meditate with somebody else, like you either want this to be like a very kind of intimate solo adventure for you, or that is what is, available to you. How do I schedule it into my day? So we actually just recently did how to build a meditation routine. I would definitely recommend watching that video, but very quickly, you need to think about what time of day, right? And how long you can commit to this. Like what time of day is going to be reasonable for you to actually commit to this, and then how long. And it doesn't have to be long. Even if you have like a minute in the morning or something like that, if you can commit to it regularly, that's what you should do. No, it's not a bother, Susan. These are what the questions are asked for. So the most important thing when starting a meditation routine is that it becomes a routine, right? So daily practice, it's not as important how long it is. It's building the familiarity of doing this, right? That's what's going to make this come easier and going to make you start to see the benefits of being able to relax your mind. It's going to make all that flow a lot easier, right? I meditate right when I wake up, but I have fallen off the wagon. It happens, right? It happens. So if you find that you've kind of like fallen off a little bit, one thing I would suggest doing is thinking about, well, maybe have I bitten off more than I can chew, right? And everyone's bite size is different, right? So maybe you were trying to do 5 minutes in the morning. I don't know, maybe do 2 minutes, right? Try to scale it back a little bit. Mariel, hello. Oh, it's always so great to see you from Poland. I know that it's very late there. Very cool that you're here. So we're doing one. We're about to start talking about if you're having trouble sleeping. So maybe this would be a good one to help you go to sleep since it's so late there, right? Most important is the daily practice. Yes, 100%, Susan. Tie it into a routine, like after you brush your teeth. Patricia, that is a brilliant idea. Really good idea from Patricia. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything to make this feel like it's part of your daily life is going to really kind of catapult you into seeing the benefits of this, right? But be reasonable, okay? You don't have to be like, I'm going to meditate an hour every day. No, don't do that, right? Go for like 5 minutes. See how it goes, right? Yeah, Patricia, really good idea. Really good point. You've seen short meditations on the Calm app that will work maybe. Yeah, yeah. The apps are really good. The apps are a really good thing to kind of keep you honest. What I would say about the apps, since there's a lot of them out there and it's becoming really popular, which is awesome. Sometimes you can start to feel reliant on the app. Like, I need to listen to the Calm app to meditate, or I need to listen to Headspace to meditate, right? And really, you don't, right? And so it's important that you recognize that you can do this without needing certain conditions, including an app, right? So when am I creating my app? I don't know. Maybe never. I like the live format. I think it's cool. But if you like using an app, go for it. If you like using music, go for it. But also try to weave in some times where you're not doing that, just to prove to yourself that you can, right? Okay. Let's get started on trouble sleeping. Does anyone have trouble sleeping? I do. I have a lot of trouble sleeping, actually. Chicken Fried Chicken, great name. I always do guided meditation. It's very noticeably harder without any cues. So that's a very important thing for you to notice, right? Because what happens is you become a little reliant on guided meditation, right? So as powerful as guided meditation is, I mean, that's why I'm doing this, right? It's important to also try to train on doing this without some guided meditation occasionally, because really you want to become confident that you can do this when you need to, right? You're not always going to be able to access a guided meditation, right? But you can always access your breathing. So just good to play around with that, even if it's not going so well, right? The fact that you're doing it, you are training your mind to become familiar with doing that. So definitely experiment with that, right? Take sleep medication to sleep. So I have sleep apnea. Like, I have horrible sleep apnea. So I have the whole machine. Like, my sleep is not good. There's a lot of problems. You have trouble staying asleep. I'm a very light sleeper too. Me too. Yep. Mindy, finding snippets of time to meditate in the shower, commercials. Yeah. Anything that's going to work for you, right? That's the key, right? So being creative about finding time. Really, really cool ideas there. Thanks, Mindy. I have a lot of trouble sleeping. A lot of people do. This is there's a lot of common threads or entry points to meditation. Anxiety, right? Reducing stress, right? And trouble sleeping is a really big one, right? Trouble sleeping, right? And interestingly enough, they are all kind of related, right? Anxiety, stress, trouble sleeping. They're all kind of, your mind's kind of doing similar things when they're engaging with those activities, right? So we're going to kind of look at how all these things are related and what our mind is doing when we're sleeping, right? When we're having trouble sleeping, really. Sometimes it goes good. And then we're going to do a specific meditation that's really, really good for relaxing our mind and our body to get us ready for sleep, or even just to really kind of hardcore unwind after a really stressful day. Mariola, I have a channel I create on YouTube with relaxing sounds, nature, and music. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, a lot of people use nature sounds, white noise, music to meditate. And all that stuff is wonderful. But also try to do this without it once in a while and see how it goes. If it's not going so great, maybe you need to put a little more effort into seeing how you can do this without music. Because what if you don't have your headphones or your phone? We pretty much always have our phone. But maybe you can't play music in a public space or something if you are really stressed and you want to meditate, right? It's good to mix it up. Okay, so this is a really common entry point into meditation, right? And meditation is really good for helping with trouble sleeping, right? So before we get into kind of really understanding how a calm mind leads to a calm body, which leads to a good night's sleep, we have to look at what's happening when we're having trouble sleeping, right? Hold on, I got to catch up. A lot going on here. Sue, $1 million and then giving some to family, buying a house, car. When I used to have trouble sleeping, I used to think about winning lotteries. like thinking about like all the cool things that you would do. That's pretty cool. Joseph, do meditation group classes help establish a regular practice? Yes. Group practices are really good because it's sort of like a buddy system, right? You keep each other honest. I found that can be really helpful, but not everyone's comfortable doing that. Some people are very they're going to propel themselves to do this on their own. So whatever works for you. If you have a friend that's interested, maybe you guys can try meditating together once and see how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, there's value in self-reliance too, right? Again, we want to really drive home that we can do this independent of needing certain things, whether it's a group class, whether it's a guided meditation, whether it's an app, whether it's music, whether it's perfect silence, whether it's my knee not hurting. We can do this independent of those things. Very important point. Okay. So when we're having trouble sleeping, what's happening, right? Our mind is like all over the place. That's 9 times out of 10. It's because our mind feels really busy, right? Essentially what's happening here is we collectively are extremely used to distracting ourselves and having a busy mind, right? All day long, our mind is very busy. It's multitasking. It's jumping from thing to thing, stimulation to stimulation, right? We're so used to distractions, so used to having a busy mind that when those distractions are not there, when that busyness is not there, or we really want it to not be there, sometimes our mind doesn't really know what to do, right? It's not that familiar with this situation, right? And so our mind races. Our mind becomes busy because that's what is normal to us. Does that make sense? Right? This familiarity, where there's that word again, right? Sometimes I like to think about anger and how it's so easy to become angry, but so hard to stay patient, right? That's because we're more familiar with the anger than we are patience. Our mind is more familiar with it, so it can go there easily. Our mind can get distracted like this. It becomes difficult for our mind to focus, right? Especially on cue, which, that's sometimes what we're trying to do when we're going to sleep. I can have 3 things going at once: 2 iPads and the phone. That's a lot of stimulation. But we've been there, right? We're all doing that. So just like I was saying before about how new meditators say that their mind seems busier when they first start meditating, it's the same principle of when we're having trouble sleeping, right? Our mind is not used to mind's not used to being like, okay, now just shut down, right? It's used to jumping around. It's used to multitasking. It's used to worrying. It's used to thinking about things coming up and things that happen. It's used to wandering. And it's not really used to focusing on one thing, right? So when we try to shut it down, sometimes it's very difficult, right? So we have these racing thoughts, right? And what are these racing thoughts about usually when we're trying to sleep, when we're having trouble sleeping? Maybe something that's coming up tomorrow. That's probably the most common, right? Maybe you have a big meeting at work, or something you're nervous about, right? Or maybe it's not even tomorrow. Maybe it's like, a year away, this thing that's coming up, like, I don't know, planning for a wedding or something, right? And we can't sleep. We're thinking about it, right? It's anxiety. Anxiety is all based in the future, right? A fear of a future outcome, right? Worry about the outcome of something in the future. It's anxiety. Excuse me. So that's very often what our mind is doing when it's having trouble sleeping. It's kind of in the future, right? Sometimes it's in the past, right? Sometimes it's thinking about something somebody said to you earlier. Maybe a coworker said something to you that you didn't like at work, and you're like in bed trying to sleep, and I can't think about anything else but what this person said to me, right? It's probably happened to you before. It happened to me. right? Our mind's in the past, right? So if our mind's in the future or if our mind's in the past, where is it not? It's not in the present moment, right? So when we're having trouble sleeping, our mind is not present. Our body is like present, right? Our body is in the bed. We're laying down. We're like trying to go to sleep, but our mind is elsewhere. Our mind is in the future or in the past, right? And so we need to start to bring it into the present a little bit, right? And if this sounds familiar, and you've been coming here for a while, it sounds a lot like how we work with anxiety, right? It's the same concept. We want to start to be a little bit more in the present moment instead of so far in the future, right? So a lot of this is related. Like a lot of the principles that we've talked about over the months here, they apply to trying to relax to go to sleep as well. I learned today that what you pay attention to grows. Very cool. I like that. Very cool. I've noticed that when I don't use electronics, it's better focus on the present moment. I feel more connected to myself and to nature, what's around and the people around me. Yeah, I mean, and so that's a wonderful takeaway. Wonderful takeaway. And the same principle applies here to if you're having trouble sleeping. Because even, when you're sleeping, even if you're not like looking at your phone, which sometimes we do, and then like you're definitely not going to go to sleep. Our mind is just like just gone. It's like jumping from thing to thing in the future. It's wild to notice it, right? And that's part of it. You have to start to notice that your mind is doing this, right? Sometimes we don't understand why, right? The reason why is because it's used to doing that. Because we've trained every day in having our mind be busy, but we do not train in having our mind be peaceful, in being calm and focusing on one thing at a time, right? And so we have to start to train in doing this. That's what we did before, breathing meditation. That's what it's about, right? So sometimes when we're having trouble sleeping or having trouble relaxing, it can be the cause of it can kind of be our body not being calm, right? Like restlessness, right? Maybe our legs are, like twitchy or something like that. Restless leg syndrome. That's a thing. Chronic pain. This is a big one, right? Chronic pain. If you have chronic pain, trying to sleep can be very difficult, right? These things, they're kind of ailments of the body, but the mind influences them a great deal, right? Like if your knee hurts, well, when you're asleep, your knee doesn't hurt, right? Because your mind is not thinking about your knee hurting. And so, interestingly enough, right, kind of like a cool way of thinking about body restlessness in terms of meditation and helping us learn how to sleep is when our body is restless, it agitates our mind, right? And it's our agitated mind that is actually preventing us from sleeping, right? So if you have, for me, I have like a kind of, I don't know, I'd say phobia or anxiety, no, that's a good word for it, of itching, right? So if I'm laying down and I'm trying to sleep and I feel an itch, my mind's like, oh no, not again. Oh, this is going to distract me for so long. Look at where my mind is. It's my mind that is going off into the future. How long is this going to last? Why is this still happening? I'm never going to get to sleep. Now I'm not going to be able to wake up in the morning, right? It's my mind that is becoming agitated. And it's my agitated mind that is preventing me from relaxing, not the itch. So this is a difficult concept to start to get behind because it feels a little counterintuitive, right? And it's especially hard if with things like chronic pain because it is very in your face, right? But starting to see how your mind plays into some of these things is really healthy and is going to help you learn how to relax even when these things are happening, right? So far, so good. So the meditation we're going to do today is a lot of different names for it. I think the most common is called like a body scan meditation. I've heard body relaxation meditation. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to calm our mind by single pointedly focusing on individual parts of our body. And we're going to like individually relax specific parts of our body, right? So we're going to like focus on our shoulders, right? We're focusing on our shoulders and how they feel as we're breathing, and we're going to imagine them just feeling light and just like melting away and relaxing, right? And then we're going to kind of move on to a different part, right? We're going to relax each part individually by using our mind, right? Single pointed concentration. Same thing as what we've been doing before, only instead of exclusively looking at our breath, we're going to kind of look at the sensations of our body, right? And then when I teach this, I like to throw in a little, I don't know, spice, right? A little spice of gratitude, right? Because sometimes when we're having trouble sleeping, we get very mad at ourselves, right? Or very mad at our body or our mind, right? We're like, oh my God, stupid itch. It's happening again. Like, why did, like all these things that we think, right? But our body and our mind really, they go through a lot each day. Like we put a ton of impact on our body each day to do all the things that we love to do, right? All the things that make us happy throughout the day. And so like there's a cool aspect of paying tribute to our body when we're trying to relax, in like a form of gratitude, like thanking our body for being there for us and for going through all this so we can kind of walk around and do the things that we want to do and enjoy, and then like permitting our body to relax, right? It's just like a little bit of a thought exercise, but it's a little bit of like a two-parter of relaxing, but also like having some gratitude to all the great things that our body allows us to do each day, right? And this helps us become more understanding of why we are restless instead of being mad that we're restless, if that makes sense. Okay. Any questions on any of this? A lot of good discussion today. A lot of good comments. Thank you guys. I love that. That's why the live format's so cool. I think it's such a good format for meditation. So we're going to do this kind of body scan, body relaxation, meditation out. And again, I'm focusing on sleeping, helping you get ready for sleep, but you can use this to just relax. Like you don't have to be like, oh, I'm feeling kind of stressed, but I'm not ready to go to bed, so I don't want to do it. No, if you're like, this works for me, this is cool. You can do this after work, right? Anytime you're feeling stressed. Gail, I feel truly inspired. I love that. Let's do this. Okay. So we're going to start the same way pretty much as we did previous. Oh, question. Okay, here we go. Susan, what do you do if you start feeling annoyed during meditation? Oh, what a good question. So remember we talked about the investigation portion of meditation. So we're relaxing our mind and then using that relaxed mind to investigate something. That's a good thing for you to investigate, right? Why am I annoyed while meditating? What am I annoyed at, right? Maybe you think you're not meditating good, right? Or, right? Maybe you think like you're getting mad at yourself, annoyed at yourself because you're not able to keep your focus on your breath, right? Right? Maybe that's what it is, right? That's a very common thing in meditation. And actually it can be troublesome because there's no like, oh, I'm meditating good or bad. You're meditating. If you're sitting down here and practicing, regardless of how it's going, you're training your mind to relax. So if you start to feel annoyed while meditating, I would first, try to just say not right now and then go back to focusing on your breath. That's really like the first step, because being annoyed is a distraction. You're usually annoyed about something that's happened before or later, future or past, right? Your mind's wandering, right? So first I would say like, nah, not right now. Not never, right? I'll deal with this annoyance in my mind later, right? So later, not now. and then go back to focusing on your breath. Or if you really want to get into it, contemplate it. Think about it while you're meditating. Why? Why am I annoyed? What's the core reason why I'm annoyed? Right? These are really cool insights. Very good question. Okay, so we're going to do a body scan, body relaxation. I don't know, whatever you call it. She could be thinking she's wasting this time and should be doing something. Crystal, what a beautiful insight. That is a very common feeling when meditating. You're sitting there and you're like, I'm wasting my time. I should be doing something. How crazy is that? That when we're sitting and relaxing, we feel like we're wasting our time, right? Sometimes relaxing is really important. So that's just an indication that you're so used to being busy that when you're not busy, you feel like something's wrong. And that's a very common issue. Crystal, great insight. Thank you. Okay, let's do this before people fall asleep for real. All right, so sit comfortably, relax, and close your eyes and follow along with what I'm saying. This one's going to be a little bit longer than the last one, but not too much. All right. Okay. Let's check in with ourselves once again. How are you feeling now? Better than before? The same as before? Worse? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it is. We're just noticing how we feel. We're practicing mindfulness. And having checked in, we can once again turn our full attention to our breathing in and out of our nose. Very gently, very naturally. Breathing in and out. Allowing yourself to relax. Following each breath in its entirety. Each in-breath and each out-breath. Maybe your mind has wandered a bit. That's okay. Whenever you notice your attention is no longer on your breathing, just gently guide it back. Guide your attention back to focusing on your full breath in and your full breath out. Breathing in and out, very gently, very naturally. So when we relax ourselves with breathing meditation, we sometimes can notice some sensations about breathing that we hadn't picked up on before. So let's start with our nose. Notice the sensations of breathing in and out through your nose. Maybe the air feels cool as you breathe in, warmer as you breathe out. Your nostrils flaring. allow yourself to focus on the sensations of breathing through your nose. And we can allow our nose to relax. We can imagine it melting away. Maybe we can now focus on our shoulders, rising and falling with each breath in and out, moving with each breath. Our shoulders carry a lot of stress. And we can allow our shoulders to relax. We can imagine them kind of melting away, fading away. And we can turn our attention to our chest, to our heart space. And notice how it feels as we breathe in and out, our chest expanding and contracting with each breath. Our chest space protecting our heart, such a vital organ that keeps our body alive and well. We can allow our chest, our heart space, we can allow it to relax. We can let it fade away and relax. And turn our attention to our stomach. Breathing in and out, we can feel our stomach moving. Our stomach's so important for nutrition, for feeding our body so we can do the things we want to do. We can allow our stomach to relax. We can allow it to fade away in our mind. And we can focus on our legs, our thighs, our glutes sitting in the chair. We can focus on how our legs feel right now as we're breathing. Our legs take a lot of punishment each day, supporting our body. We can thank our legs for all that they do for us, all they've done for us this past day, and we can allow our legs to relax. We can allow them to fade away in our mind. And we can focus on our feet. How do your feet feel right now if they're on the floor or laying down? How do they feel as you're breathing? Much like our legs, our feet help support our body, help us move to do all sorts of wonderful things. We can allow our feet to relax. We can let them fade away in our mind. Our body provides us with so many wonderful opportunities each day. It goes through massive hardship each moment of each day so that we can live. How kind of our body to do this. We can thank our body for all that it's done for us this past day. And we can allow our body to relax, to fade away. And we can sit here relaxed, breathing in and out, very gently, very naturally. Okay, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How'd that go? Hopefully it was relaxing. Susan, okay, yeah, okay, this was from before, got it. Yes, first is not right now, totally. That's right, perfect, right on target. And then if you're feeling up to the challenge, kind of contemplate why, right? Patricia, great, thanks. Good, so that's what I would call like a body-mind meditation. Like it's all kind of together. But the concept is the exact same as breathing meditation. We're focusing on kind of one thing at a time, right? So we're focusing on our breath, right? And the sensations of breathing. And then we're allowing our nose, right, which is where our breathing is happening, to fade away, right? And then we're focusing on our shoulders, right? We're like kind of feeling gratitude for our shoulders, for holding up our head and like all the stress we have in our shoulders. And we're focusing on it rising and falling with our breath, and then we're letting it fade away. So we're like systematically going through kind of various points in our body. And I didn't hit every body part, as you might have noticed, because we don't have all the time in the world. You can do as granular as you want. But this is a really good way of relaxing your body by relaxing your mind, which relaxes your body, which is a really good combination for helping with sleep. So hopefully that was helpful. Martha, awesome. I need to do this more. Yeah. So, if you had a really good experience, it's important to notice that like, hey, I had a really good experience. And like, that's going to drive you to want to expand upon that and to practice, right? That's what's going to make this routine for you. So that's great. Crystal, great body scan my shoulders. Thank you. Mine too. I was carrying some heavy stuff today, so that was great. Brandy, I'm relaxed. My busy 10-year-old daughter has fallen asleep already. You're good. All right, I like that. That's an endorsement right there. Joseph, does music or relaxing sounds in the background help in a meditation? For some people, it does, right? So everyone's different. Personally, I find music to distract me. but I know a lot of great meditators, people who are much like, more advanced than me, that use music because it helps them. So you should experiment with some of these things to see what helps you, but also just know that even if like music does help you, you don't need music to meditate. That's a really important thing to keep reminding yourself, right? Susan, you're the best teacher because you're a real person with a real personality. Thank you. That's kind of has been my goal with this channel, with my meditation business, is to make it accessible, because it is really accessible, but it feels inaccessible at times. So thank you. That means a lot to me to hear that, because that's really what I'm trying to do. Mariola, thank you for being here. Boy, it's got to be late for you. Lately, I want to focus on my body, take care of my body, and you're doing this with meditation. Yes. So like body and mind are very intimately connected, and sometimes we can really benefit our body by like using our mind to think about how important and like crucial our body is. Like, and we start to feel gratitude to our own body, which is like a really cool thing, right? Because normally let's be honest, we take our body for granted, right? We maybe don't eat right. I'm talking about myself here too. We maybe don't eat right. We don't get enough sleep. We don't drink enough water. Like all these things that like really nourish our body, we like neglect them. And maybe if we kind of remind ourselves how kind our body is to like really support all the things that we need to do, we're going to feel compassion towards our own body and going to want to nourish it. Right. So this is a really cool practice for doing that, as well as relaxing. Gail, I feel so relaxed. Good. All right. Well, everyone go to sleep. So if you did have a good experience here, great. I'm really glad to hear that. Come back. We do these every Wednesday, unless I have to take you off, which I do have a little vacation coming up on one Wednesday in like 2 weeks, but I'll be here next week. So I don't even know why I'm mentioning that, but come back next week. We're going to do something new. And Sue, you're in Australia. Okay. You got to stay awake. Sorry about that. Oh man. So definitely come back next week. And maybe bring a friend. If you want, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You get notified when I'm going live in case you forget. And if you're like, hey, this is really cool. I'm pretty into this. I see the benefits. I want to practice. I want to do more. I offer one-on-one instruction, which is really good, for focusing on something that is pertinent to you. Like I was mentioning my like itching thing, like we could focus on that if that's something, that is bothering you, or if you want to focus on your anxiety or anything. If it's a one-on-one is really a really like good setting to do something like that. So if that's interesting to you, just email me and we can set something up. I'll put my email here. Keith at meditationbreaks.com. I put it in the chat there. So just email me, or even if you have a question about meditation or anything, just email me. That's my email. Joseph, thanks. Good session. Glad you enjoyed it. I'm feeling ready for bed. Chicken fried chicken, such a good name. Thank you. Thank you. Always watch your videos. Thank you. Thank you for all the people that have supported me. This has been such a cool experience so far. I'm so glad that it's been beneficial to you guys. Sue, it's your birthday next week. Happy birthday. I'll see you next week. Crystal. Yes, I painted blue. We're experimenting with some colors here in the household. So blue it is for now. All right. Susan, thank you so much. I look forward to this every week. I'm so glad to hear that. I really like that. That means so much to me. So thank you for sharing that. Really. I haven't been meditating long. No way an expert, but someone told me to hold my tongue at the top of my palate. What do you think? Yes. Interesting. That actually is a pretty classic instruction for like very traditional meditation. Putting your tongue at the like roof of your mouth. I think it helps just limit mouth movements. like as you know, we're talking about distractions. Well, some of that is like we're moving our lips or like moving our tongue around. So like sometimes just like selecting a spot and like, you know, leaving it there is important. Experiment with it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then you don't need to do it. But that is like a traditional instruction. Yes. Gail, good night from the Philadelphia suburbs. All right, you get a good night's sleep. I'm really glad that everyone could be here. I hope this has helped you. And please keep coming back. Thanks for being here and taking time out of your day to be with me. Mariola, thank you for being here from Poland. It's really incredible that you're here when it's so late. I appreciate that. Take care, everyone. All right. Good night.